Hey guys, we are on day 3 of our Let's Use All the Potatoes No Waste November week. So I am going to show you guys what is maybe my favorite way to use a leftover potato, and that is we're gonna pull out the big guns today and we're gonna make some really delicious crispy potato skins. If you guys are curious about other ways I have used some leftover baked potatoes to kind of make some fun and creative things for us to have for additional meals, then I will show you guys. I will start off by saying that I am just doing like one serving of these things because very often when we have leftovers, we don't have enough to actually make like a whole additional meal for our whole family. So this is more just like how I would use it to make 1 or 2 servings of something. So that being said, I'm just gonna make a couple of crispy potato skins for myself today for a little snack. So I am going to start out with a baked potato that I grabbed out of my refrigerator, and I am going to treat it, if you watch my twice baked potato video, then I'm going to treat it kind of the same way. If you didn't, I will link that down below, along with any other ideas I have shared on ways I'm using my leftover baked potatoes. But I am going to start my potato skins in the exact same way. So I'm using a bigger potato for this, but I am going to cut this just in half lengthwise, just like that. And then I like to use a ice cream scoop. I have just found that this works really well for scooping out the middle of potatoes, especially when they are cold. So one of my kids will eat the inside of this potato, I'm sure. I have a couple of kids that really love baked potatoes, and so they will happily have that for their lunch today. But if I didn't, I could throw this in a compost, or I could give this to my animals, I could give this to my chickens, so it wouldn't go to waste either way. But it is nice to be able to use all of something like that just for this specific recipe that I'm working on right now. I'm not going to use all of it. So this is about how much of the potato I have out, which is most of it. So that is hollowed out, and I'm going to move the actual potato aside. I am going to start working on the actual crispy potato skins. So I have pulled out of my pantry my jar of bacon grease. If you do not keep bacon grease, you must not be a Southerner. But if you don't have bacon grease, or you don't want to use it, you can always use coconut oil for this. You could also use olive oil for this. You could also use butter for this if you want to. I do my baked potatoes in my Instant Pot, but if you wanted to cook them in an oven, you could do this on the outside of an uncooked potato, and then when you bake it, it's gonna have that super yummy bacony flavor on the outside. Okay, so I have those covered. I am going to add just a pinch of salt. That bacon does have some salt in it, but I want it to be an obvious salty bite. So I am going to salt the outside, and then I am also going to salt the inside of those. So this alone would be really tasty if you wanted to just throw it in the oven just like this. But I am going to add just a little bit of bacon bits and cheddar cheese on top. For my bacon bits, I love this specific product from Sam's. I love these. It's actual bacon. You can tell when you cook them, they will crisp up. So I'm going to add, I do like to watch out if there's any pieces that are like really extra fatty. I'm not going to add those this time. I like to add those just to a pan to render out some of that fat. But I'm not going to add those to my actual potatoes right now. So I'm going to throw that in there. Not a ton. I mean, you can see I'm not overfilling this. Oh, forgot that had grease on the outside. You can see I'm not massively overfilling these at all. I just want like a little bit on the bottom. And the same thing with the cheese. I'm not going to put a ton of cheese on there. I just want enough to add like a nice little cheesy flavor. I have these filled, and I have my oven preheated to 400. So I'm going to put these in my oven, until the outsides get crispy and that cheese is nice and melty and that bacon in there is nice and crispy and those potatoes are completely warmed through. So that is probably going to take me about 20 to 30 minutes. It's a yummy snack that I am pretty excited to bite into. So these are nice and crispy, if you can hear that. And they are smelling amazing. That bacon grease on the outside is just adding a ton of flavor to those. So this is a fun way that you can reuse some leftover baked potatoes and not let them go to waste.